Hi, I have a question for you. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Let me guess, you're going to say flight, or perhaps invisibility, maybe. Or what about eating whatever you want and never gaining a pound? Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? My name is Shannon Addison, and I talk a lot about connection. In fact, I've created a brand aimed at girls to build connection with their parents and their peers, and ultimately to help them feel better about who they are. But I'm here to share a secret with you about me. And that is that I have an actual superpower. It's true. I have a real superpower. I discovered this when I was in 6th grade. I tried out and earned the role in a made-for-TV drama that our class was producing, starring opposite of a boy I was totally crushing on. I played the part of his wife. And to say that I prepared for this role is an understatement. I knew my lines cold. And this wasn't just any kind of class play. We actually traveled to our local university where we learned all about film production and staging and lighting and direction. It was a completely unique experience. As we set up the first scene, I happened to notice the graduate assistant who was helping our class. He walked over to have a discussion with my teacher about the script. He determined that my on-screen husband and I should share a quick kiss at the end of the first scene, to make it feel a little bit more authentic. Well, this was not in the original script. And when I heard him say this, I could feel the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I was completely overcome with panic. Sensing my discomfort, my on-screen partner, being a truly wonderful person, tried to break the tension by telling me a quick joke. It was something totally silly and benign. He leaned over and he said to me, "Hey, what do you call a deer with no eyes?" And I said, "I don't know, what?" And he said, "No-eyed deer." And I remember thinking that the joke wasn't that funny, but it didn't really matter because in my nervousness, I burst out laughing. And it was that uncontrollable kind of laughter. Have you ever been in a situation where you know you cannot laugh? Well, that was me. I was trying to stop, but I could not control the laughter. And it continued right up to the point where I realized that I had just wet my pants, which is kind of unfortunate when you're in 6th grade. So I know you're probably wondering, okay, what is your superpower? When I tell this story, people are generally pretty surprised at the ending. I know I was. But I always follow with the same question. I ask, do you know what I did the very next day? I got up and I went to school. That's right, I survived. I know that I can experience the most devastatingly embarrassing moment, and I can come out the other side. That has the makings of a true superpower. And yes, as I share this experience and a myriad of other embarrassing moments, I start to recognize what kind of superpower it actually is. You see, when I get done speaking, oftentimes people will approach me and offer up their own stories of embarrassing moments or times they felt vulnerable. And I know something greater has come out of this. I've been in rooms where I've listened to speakers talk about their success and their wealth and their happiness and their formula. And I've watched people feverishly take notes and nod with admiration. But I've also been in rooms where the person behind the podium talks about personal struggles and heartbreak and indignities, their humanness. And I have felt a shift in the room as people start to connect. We live in an age where we really need more superpowers. With the advance of technology, we're experiencing what is being called a crisis of connection. In fact, in 2021, McKinsey & Company asked managers why their employees were leaving their firms. And a majority of the managers stated that they believed it was because they wanted higher pay. But when McKinsey asked the employees directly, you know what they said? They said they were leaving because they didn't feel recognized or valued by their managers or their organizations. They didn't feel seen. So here's the thing. We all have superpowers. The key is figuring out what they are. As Glinda the Good Witch tells Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, you had the power all along, my dear. You simply had to learn how to use it for yourself. So I leave you with this challenge. Dig deep. Reflect on your unique gifts, your superpowers, whether it's inspiring or teaching or creating or leading or listening or healing, whatever they are, the world is waiting. In this disconnected world, your superpower might just be the thing that bridges the gaps. So step up, step in, and let your light shine. Because let me tell you, X-ray vision is overrated. But together, we can reconnect and transform the world. So what do you say? Let's go.
Hi, my name's Ty Sylvan, and I am thrilled that you made time to be a part of the She Rises virtual summit. I'm a New Orleans native, mom of 6, wife of 25 years, author, advocate, communications director, volunteer, daughter, sister, friend. Like you, I wear many hats and know what it's like to lose myself in the roles that I play. So I'm excited to share with you on a topic that's near and dear to my heart, self-care. I am on a mission to redefine motherhood to include self-care and self-compassion so that we raise children with realistic expectations of future partners and children who are not afraid to become mothers. There are a couple of ways that I think we can do that. So I will share with you 3 ways on how I have rediscovered myself and prioritized self-care. That's adding myself to my calendar, adding myself to my budget, and making a wish list. So I remember running into friends who were no longer in my inner circle and saying how we needed to catch up and promising to do better, make calls, go out to dinner. And it didn't happen. And I probably didn't, actively think about that friend until the next year when we ran into each other, possibly at the same store. And I got tired of that. So I started scheduling play dates for myself. So I looked at my calendar, picked some available times, emailed it out to friends. And the first 3 people that responded were ones that I, added to my calendar. And I'd like to remind you that what you do can be based on that relationship, the time of year, your budget, the amount of time you have available. So it could be everything from attending a workshop or class together to going for a walk or out to dinner. It, can cost money, but doesn't have to. So don't let that stop you from doing this. If you are not used to scheduling time for yourself, I encourage you to start small. You can pull out your calendar and make time for yourself 10 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Pick times that you can be consistent and show up for yourself. The next thing is to add yourself to your budget. And I like to share there are 2 ways you can do this. You can just put a set number of dollars aside each week, and once a month, do something, whether that's attending a show, going to your favorite restaurant, or buying yourself a new dress. The other way is that once you do your budget for the month, you could look at so once the essentials are paid, then all of the leftover money is divided evenly amongst your family members. And that money is what's available for extracurricular activities, including dance or sports or music lessons. And that can be for everybody. So, with your allotted money, if you want to take horseback riding lessons, that's great. If you want to save it for a annual family vacation, that's great too. There's no restrictions on how you can spend the money that's allotted to you, but the point is that there is money allotted to you as well. The final thing is to make a wish list. And sometimes we can think, oh, that's only for kids, or oh, that's so, materialistic, or oh, if I want something, I can just buy it for myself, so I don't need to do that. Well, there are people from coworkers to, friends and or family who various times a year will want to get you something. And I know for me, I would much rather appreciate a gift certificate to my favorite movie theater than a gift certificate to a coffee shop because I'm not a coffee drinker. So having this list allows you to share what's meaningful, things that will make you feel seen and appreciated. One tip I like to share with people about creating a wish list is to think about your goals for 2025. Think about where you want to be at the end of the year and what tools and resources you need to get there. And that's your wish list. So, what you can do now is find one day this week to schedule 10 minutes for yourself. Use that 10 minutes to look at your budget and figure out how much of your budget you can allocate for yourself on a regular basis. Another 10-minute session, you can make a wish list for yourself and start to think about, again, what you would like to accomplish, what you need to get there, and make a list of those things. So whether that's you purchasing those things for yourself with your budget, or you sharing that wish list with your friends and family for upcoming birthdays or celebrations where they just want to bless you with something. I hope you have found this information helpful. If you have, you can subscribe to timewithty.com for more tips where I work on elevating care for self, marriage, family, and community. You can also follow me on social media at Time with Ty Nola. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing how you have better cared for yourself.
Hello, beautiful souls. I'm so honored to be here at the Empower Her Virtual Summit. And for those of you watching this recording later, I want you to know that I am right here with you, sharing something that could change your life. I am Hyatt, and today I want to talk about something I wish someone had told me years ago. Let me start by sharing a story, one that might sound all too familiar. Picture this. It's 4 a.m. and my alarm jolts me awake. I'm out of the door before sunrise, helping my husband set up our coffee shop at the busy bus station. Then the whirlwind begins. Getting the kids ready, doing the school run, managing another cafe, making deliveries, cooking family meals, and twice a week, I am ending my day in a college classroom trying to build something better for myself. I thought I was crushing it, being everything to everyone. Supermom, devoted wife, business owner, student. But the truth, I was burning out completely. My body quit on me before I could admit to myself that I was running on empty. That breakdown, though, it turned out to be my breakthrough. You see, I didn't just lose myself in the sacrifices I made. I found my true worth. And that's what I want to share with you today. Because I know some of you are sitting there right now, juggling everything, thinking that that's just how it has to be. let me tell you that's not true. First, let's talk about what this constant sacrificing costs us. I know this because I lived it. When I was 12, I dreamed of becoming a doctor. But my mother, who couldn't read or write, told me that a doctor was beyond my reach. Becoming a teacher would be a huge step for our family. So I adjusted my dreams. After getting married, I started studying to become a nurse. But halfway through the year, my husband's jealousy put a stop to that too. I wasn't just giving up my career opportunities. I was giving away pieces of myself. And the scary part, it became so normal. I stopped even noticing. Does that sound familiar to anyone here? Here's where things shifted for me. I discovered something powerful. Your energy creates your reality. I know. Yeah, it sounds a little out there, right? But stay with me. Think about it. When our energy is blocked by constant people pleasing, we struggle and opportunities seem to pass us by. When we nurture our energy through self-care and boundaries, doors begin to open. Your energy is the foundation of your relationship presence. Would you drive a car with no fuel? Of course not. So why do you or we think we can lead, support, and grow while running on empty? For me, what I found true empowerment starts with honoring my inner world, my spiritual journey. Whatever that means to you, helped guide my choices. I learned that listening to my inner voice was just as crucial as speaking up in meetings. You know, the first thing I did was something so simple, it might make you laugh. I started having tea and cake by myself twice a week. Just me, my thoughts, and a slice of cake. Now, was it really about the cake? Of course not. It was about saying, my time matters. And you know what's amazing? The more I valued myself, the more others did too. Through this journey, I also discovered something profound through my faith as a Baha'i. Humanity is like a bird, and men and women are its two wings. A bird can't soar with just one strong wing, right? That's why empowerment isn't just about lifting women up while leaving men behind. We need to remember that. It's about helping everyone grow. When men feel supported to embrace their emotions and step away from toxic expectations, they become our allies in creating real change. That's how we rise together. Let me tell you about a woman I worked with recently. She felt completely invisible in her own marriage, doing everything for her husband and family. But one tiny act of self-care a day, just daily walks, became her getaway to rediscovering her worth. Today, she's running her department at work and mentoring other women. It all started with her saying, I deserve this, and her husband is now supporting her. Now, here's what I want you to do. This week, I challenge you to try something new. Pick up one thing where you usually put yourself last. Maybe it's skipping lunch to help others or saying yes to extra work when you're already swamped. Pause and ask yourself, what would it look like if I put myself first here? Set a boundary. It could be as simple as saying, I need to take my lunch break today. Trust me, the world won't fall apart. In fact, you might just inspire someone else to do the same. And if you're ready to take this journey further, let's stay connected. Follow me on Instagram at Rapid Empowerment and sign up for my newsletter where I share tips on how to look after yourself, leadership, and living your worth. Mostly, It's more about energy and your mindset. Remember, this every time you choose yourself, you're showing others what's possible. Your worth isn't measured by how much you give up. It's measured by how brightly you allow yourself to shine. So, are you ready to take that first step? Because once you do, there's no going back to playing small. Remember that. Thank you for joining.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michelle D'Amico, and I'm the founder and CEO of Veta Consultants, an executive and leadership firm here in Los Angeles. More on that in a second. I'm excited to be here today, really, for a number of reasons, really, to talk to you about something that I'm very passionate about, personal growth and mindset. Let's be honest. Every day we're faced with challenges, big and small. Like I said, I'm recording this today from Los Angeles, where the fires are raging around me. I've been very lucky that I have not been affected by them in the way that so many people have been. But there's challenges every day we face, big and small, all sorts of things. And it's really not about the challenges. It's about how we look at things and how we determine what our reaction will be to things that really defines whether we're growing and changing and building confidence or not. So let's talk a little bit about some things that you can do, to sort of embrace a growth mindset. So, there's growth mindset and fixed mindset. And the growth mindset is really all about being able to see that our intelligence, our abilities can change and grow with some dedication and hard work, rather than a fixed mindset, which is sort of like, I was just born this way, and nothing's ever going to change. This is the way I am. So we want to really try to embrace that more growth mindset. And something you can do to do this is, next time that you face some kind of setback, any setback, big or small, look at it as, what can I learn from this, as opposed to what went wrong? What can I learn from this? Another thing is, Carol Dweck out of Stanford came up with this beautiful, it's called The Power of Yet and the Tyranny of Now. And it works great with children as well, by the way, that it's putting the word yet at the end of a sentence, where we might say, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. I'm not good at math, or whatever it may be. Putting the word yet at the end of that sentence, well, I can't do that yet. It's sort of like a bucket list, things that we want to do but we haven't done yet. It opens the door to the possibilities and the growth, rather than shutting it down. I can't do it. That's a fixed mindset. I just can't. It's not going to change. Something to think about. Just that little tiny word, yet. The other thing is, prioritize progress over perfection. I know we all think about, it's got to be perfect before I turn it in, or before I tell anybody, or it's got to be just the right time before I do this. And the thing is, we know that right time just never really comes. And so what we want to do is, you can set a goal for yourself every week, a small goal, something that is absolutely achievable, and then celebrate the win as you move towards that goal. That another thing that Carol Dweck has done a lot of research on is, when we put ourselves in situations where it's very uncomfortable, if we can stick with it, and outside of our comfort zone, but we can stick with and make progress and get through the challenge, we create more confidence going forward and resilience. And the last thing I'll talk about is self-awareness. So becoming very self-aware of what your triggers are, what your strengths are, and and maybe where you can improve. So becoming very self-aware, because this then in turn allows us to be able to make intentional choices about the things that we face every day and the challenges that we face, and make those intentional choices. So that's another something. So think about next time you have a challenge, sit down and just during the day and sit down and think about all the challenges you faced that day or all the things that happened that day, and how did I react to them? What worked? What didn't work? What can I change going forward to do better? So hopefully some of those things will help you when we talk about growth mindset versus fixed, and just that personal growth that we all want to achieve, especially here, we're going into 2025, the new year. We always want to grow and change. So I hope that those help you and that you're ready to kind of dive in and start your journey. If you're interested and you want to share your journey with me, I would love to cheer you along. I know that these things work. I've seen them work in my life. I've seen them work with my clients. I've seen them work with friends and family. So I know they work. Love to cheer you on and just know what your journey entails. So you can reach me at bettaleaders.com. That's my website, Betta with a V. VETTA leaders.com. You can email me at Michelle at michelledemico.com. And that's Michelle with one L, MICHELE at Michelle, and then my last name, DAMICO.com. Or you can reach me on LinkedIn, just Michelle D'Amico. I would love to hear from you, cheer you on, and learn from you as well. So remember, personal growth is not a destination. It is a journey. So let me help you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Life doesn't always give us a straight path. But what if I told you you have the power to create your own? Before I dive into my story, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I'm Danny Rosenblatt James, and like many of you, I've had faced setbacks, self-doubt, and that relentless pressure to prove myself in a world that sometimes doesn't feel like it was built for us. Besides that, I've worn many hats. I'm entrepreneur, a mind and body coach, international best-selling author. And each role has taught me something. It has taught me that we have a strength as women in business. None of these lessons came easy, though. It was time and time again, I had to rewrite the story that I was telling myself about who I could be. And one of the most pivotal points in my life, it started out as one of the worst days of my life, or so I thought at the time. This happened 10 years ago. I was in a 7-car pileup where I got a traumatic brain injury. I woke up from a coma 3 days being in the hospital, and when I came to, my body felt broken. My mind was just foggy, and everything felt so uncertain. My life had just shattered from me, and I had to figure out what to do next. So I had this inner voice inside me say with anguish, "Now what?" And it was amid the chaos and that fear that I heard this quiet voice sternly say to me inside my head, "This is but a moment." And this sentence became my lifeline. When I heard that, I realized that I do have a choice. I'm the one that gets to choose what happens next. I could stay stuck here, be defined by what had happened to me, or I could reshape my life to what I want it to exactly be. And in that moment, I chose freedom. I chose what I truly wanted in my path. And that choice was just the beginning of my journey. It wasn't just about the physical healing.
but it was about something much deeper. I began to imagine my life as whole, unbroken thing. And I was imagining myself walking out of this hospital and into a life that I loved. And let me tell you, when you fully and truly believe in what you want and commit to it with everything you have, anything's possible. Even if you feel it isn't, it truly is. And for me, the belief wasn't just about healing. It was about reclaiming my identity. It was about realizing that I wasn't just surviving this accident. I was creating a new, better version of myself. Maybe for you, your path is an illness, self-doubt, or a loss of a business. But what we need to remember is we must keep pushing forward, because even in the darkest times, there's always something good to find in it. And I know it can be truly hard at times, but there is. And you just have to keep staying positive and working towards that. So here's what I want you to take from my journey. You are not defined by the challenges you face. You're defined by the choices you make when those challenges appear. You have the power to create the life you want. It doesn't matter where you start or what obstacles are in your way. What matters is if you believe in yourself. And when you truly believe in yourself, that next step is going to be all worth more. And every day since I had my traumatic brain injury, I'm thankful that it had happened, because I was going the wrong way. I had no idea what I was missing out and how much I could give to other people. And so when this truly happened, I was lost. But now as I reflect back on it, I realized that it was a gift. And I know that sounds crazy to some, but it truly was a gift, because I realized how much I can help others from my story. So if you're ready to take that next step, I want to invite you to join me on a journey of growth, self-discovery, and empowerment. I've created a 12-week mindset program, and I dive deep into the tools and the lessons that I learned as I overcame my traumatic brain injury. Each week, I dive into my book, The Wandering Heart, A Tale of a Traveling Misfit in Life's Wilderness. And with that, it's all about me overcoming my traumatic brain injury. And there are a lot of tools and tips to take from there. And as I break it down, it's designed to help you build awareness, deepen your self-connection, and find the courage to create the life that you have been dreaming about. This program is more than just that. It's a community of women finding their paths that they've been dreaming of. So I invite you to take that step, and let's create something incredible together. Because the truth is, the power to transform has always been within you. All it takes is that one decision, one moment, to say, this is but a moment, and I get to choose what happens next. Thank you.
Today, I want to share some thoughts on a concept that could significantly transform our lives: peaceful prosperity. Before I get started sharing with you today, I would like to introduce myself. I am a mother of 5, an entrepreneur, and someone who has faced great personal loss. A little over a year ago, I lost my husband unexpectedly, just a week after losing my mom. These experiences forced me to step back, take a deep look into my life, and it put me on a path to peaceful prosperity. One of the most important aspects of my journey has been building a personal relationship with God. This relationship has been a very huge part in helping me to discover peaceful prosperity. I must admit that this process doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, patience, and faith. Through looking deeply into my personal fears and uncertainties, especially after losing my mom and my husband, I discovered that true joy and fulfillment comes from within. If you please allow me to begin with a short story of a young lady who we will call Claire. Claire was a remarkable individual who embodied peaceful prosperity. Claire had a successful career in finance, but she often felt overwhelmed and disconnected from her true passion. One day, she decided to take a step back and take a serious look at her life. Through self-reflection, Claire discovered that her true joy came from helping others and spending quality time with her loved ones. So what is peaceful prosperity, you ask? Peaceful prosperity is not merely about accumulating wealth or achieving external success. It's a holistic approach to life where internal peace and external prosperity work hand in hand. It means living in a way that promotes both personal satisfaction and positive contributions to the community, and creating an environment where everyone can thrive. Like I mentioned before, peaceful prosperity doesn't happen overnight. It is a process, and there are different steps that must be considered in order to gain peaceful prosperity. These steps include self-awareness and mindfulness, setting intentional goals, fostering positive relationships, continuous learning and growth. There are also a few core elements to peaceful prosperity, which include provision, place, purpose, people, and personal. So once you have peaceful prosperity, how do you maintain it? I am so glad that you asked. There are a few ways to maintain peaceful prosperity, no matter what goes on in life. You just have to decide that you want to. And a couple of these steps are work-life balance, gratitude and positivity, giving back to the community, resilience and adaptability. Gaining peaceful prosperity also has several health benefits. Some of these are reduced stress and anxiety, improved physical health, better sleep quality, and enhanced immune functions. Health. Peaceful prosperity is a journey that requires intentional effort and continuous reflection. These are done by nurturing our inner selves, building meaningful connections, and contributing positively to our communities. We can create a life of harmony, success, and lasting fulfillment, just like Claire did.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I want to talk to you about something that I believe all of us have wrestled with at one point or another, and that is confidence. For years, I struggled with my own sense of self-worth. Self-doubt crept in when I least expected it, and at times it felt so overwhelming. I hid behind fear, and I was held down by limited beliefs, and I was drowning in alcohol. It wasn't until I chose to get sober and began a journey of healing and self-discovery that I built self-confidence and I began to breathe. Through this journey, I realized that I wasn't alone. So many women face the same internal battles. That's why I created the Confidence Code, which is a framework built on 4 essential steps that transformed my life. And today, I hope they'll resonate with you too. Let's dive into the 4 C's of the Confidence Code. Each one was a turning point for me and can be a guidepost for anyone seeking to grow in confidence, self-acceptance, and resilience. The first C stands for clarity of values. For a long time, I felt uncertain, second-guessing every decision and living by what I thought others expected of me. I would mold myself into what I believed I should be instead of asking myself who I even wanted to be. Finding clarity meant peeling back the layers of outside expectations, getting to the heart of my own values. What did I stand for? What did I genuinely believe in? And when I started answering those questions, I began living in alignment with my true self. I no longer had to seek validation outside because I had a clear internal compass. Today, I encourage each of you to ask, what are your core values? And if you're unsure, take time to explore that question. This clarity will be your foundation, guiding you through life's challenges with greater self-assurance. The second C is challenge negative self-talk. For years, I listened to an internal critic that would nitpick at everything I did. You're not good enough. You'll never succeed. These thoughts can feel so real, but they're rarely grounded in truth. One day, I decided to confront this critic. I started challenging each negative thought that popped into my head. And when I caught myself saying, I can't do this, I would take a pause. And I would reframe that thought to I'm learning and growing. And slowly but surely, I started replacing self-criticism with words of encouragement. If negative self-talk has a grip on you, remember this. You have the power to change the narrative. Challenge those thoughts, question the validity, and choose words that lift you up rather than diminish you. Next, celebrate the wins. The small wins. This is something I struggled with in the past. I was too busy looking at the larger goals that I overlooked the progress. And if I wasn't making that major milestone, I felt like a failure. See, each little victory builds momentum, and celebrating the small wins was transformative. They were a reminder of how far I've come by boosting my confidence and helping me take steps forward. So let's make it a habit to pause and celebrate ourselves. No matter how small the win, every bit of progress matters. The last step, 4, community, supportive network. For a long time, I tried to do everything on my own. I thought strength meant going solo. But that belief left me feeling isolated and depleted. It was only when I opened up to others, sharing my fears, my hopes, and my dreams, that I discovered the incredible power of community, A supportive network reminds us that we're not alone and that our struggles and successes are part of a shared human experience. The right people in your lives lift you up and encourage you and reflect on your worth. Surround yourself with people who believe in you. Find those who see your potential, who celebrate your growth, and who will lift you when you feel down. A strong, supportive community can be one of the most powerful forces in building lasting confidence. So, in conclusion, the 4 steps: clarity of values, challenging negative self-talk, celebrating small wins, and building a supportive community are the pillars of the confidence code. They are not only steps towards confidence, but also a pathway to living a life that aligns with who you truly are. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. I hope these 4 C's inspire you as much as they have empowered me. Together, let's build a world where we uplift one another, encourage our growth, and celebrate our unique journeys in confidence. Thank you.
What happens when life doesn't turn out the way you thought it would? That's when I think it's important to think about creating a new story for your life. Hi, and welcome to the She Rises Empower Virtual Summit. I'm Jen Wrigley, the founder of Flourishing Over 50 and the creator of the Flourish Journey for Women Over 50. It's all about creating a new story for your life. Can we all agree that life comes with a lot of baggage? Especially right now, there's so much heaviness in our lives. Can you feel that? Let's just take a deep breath, relax a minute. Yes, there is a lot of heaviness in our lives today. But what I want to talk about is that this heaviness is not a one-time thing. It accumulates over time. When I was 10 years old, my father had been in the hospital and was home recovering. One night, I had a terrible dream, a dream no little girl should have. I heard something bumping the walls outside my bedroom, and I envisioned in my dream a stretcher that my dad was on leaving the house. I woke up in the morning after that dream just like it was any other day where I would be going to school, but it wasn't. I walked downstairs and there were a lot of people in my house that typically wouldn't be there on a regular morning. And I knew then that my dream had not been a dream. And I knew that at age 10, my family's life and my life would never be the same. This was just the beginning of several traumas that I have encountered during my life. And I know I'm not alone. I know that every single one of you watching this today have had traumas or challenges or setbacks in your life. What I want to let you know is that as we accumulate and layer on years of life, we often, and usually we all do, layer on those challenges and traumas as well. They build up over time. We usually get to the place, or we often get to the place where we're just like, wow, I'm tired. I don't know if I can do this anymore. Have you ever asked yourself, is this all there is to life? And sometimes that happens when we're in a deep, dark place. We're not able to show up with joy and intention. And I also know that many of us start to look inwards and blame ourselves. You might be blaming yourself for how you're feeling, or did you do something wrong? But in reality, it is that these traumas, challenges, and setbacks, we have literally powered through them all these years, and it has caused us to doubt ourselves. But the good news is it doesn't have to stay this way. It is possible to release that weight, reignite your life, and step into a life that you feel good about, filled with energy and intention. You can overcome trauma, build resilience, and reclaim your life. You can create a new story for your life. There was a time when I was in a deep, dark depression, literally lying on the kitchen floor, not sure if I could even get up. But I did pick myself up. I continued on. I did what I needed to do, and I went through many years of healing. When I looked back and saw that process I had been through, I realized there were so many women in midlife that had those same feelings but had not made it through that healing process. And that is why I created the Flourish Journey for Midlife Women. I knew I had a process because I had been through it myself, and I knew I could reach out to all of you that are struggling and help you reclaim your joy. The number one thing that I found helpful for me that is very easy and actionable for you to do that I promise will change your life is to follow what I call the joy triangle and try to do it every day. It's 3 minutes a day. This is the foundation for everything in terms of creating a new story for your life. It is the foundation that I teach in the Flourish Journey for Midlife Women. Number 1, be in stillness. I want you to take a minute, just 1 minute every day to be in stillness. And yes, this is where you have to turn off your phone. Number 2, as part of the joy triangle, the second step is to think about your intention for the day. I want you to think about this is less about your to-do list and more about how do you want to feel during the day? Whose lives do you want to impact? Something that feels good to you and that you'll feel good about yourself. And third is be in gratitude. I know we all have heard about gratitude and how important it is, but there are scientific studies that show this can change your life. And whether you want to journal or just spend a minute thinking about what you are grateful for, I'm telling you, this 3-minute process can change the trajectory of your life, not just your day. I know you can do this. So please give it a try, because if you don't happen to life will happen to you. And what I mean by that is that if you don't take time every day for things like intention, stillness, and gratitude, your life will just go the way everybody else wants it to be. So this is a way for you to take control of your life with just 3 minutes a day. Hopefully you've learned a little something about how trauma and setbacks can build up over time and how that is what's impacting you. And also some techniques that you can use every day following the joy triangle to make a change in your life. If you want more information, feel free to reach out to flourishingover50.com. You can get a copy of the joy triangle and also find out a little bit more about the Flourish Journey. As an update to the story that I told, my father did die that night. And my mother went on to raise 6 children from the ages of 4 to 10. But I can tell you that we are flourishing today. I see a beautiful, joyful life in your future. So take this first step by following the joy triangle. Again, I'm Jen Wrigley, the founder of Flourishing Over 50 and creator of the Flourish Journey for Women Over 50.
Hello and welcome, gorgeous. I'm Sylvia Becker-Hill, and I'm so delighted you're joining me here today for this 7-minute empowerment nugget. Today, I want to share with you one of my favorite tools to step into your sovereignty as the queen in your life, to really embrace your freedom and your power to shape your space intellectually, emotionally, physically, and to make sure that no one gets your most precious resources. This number one tool is so simple that I worry that you don't take it serious. So please be with me. And to sense how powerful it is, I invite you to do what I'm doing right now, to stand up. Stand up while you're watching here this video, of course, when you're not driving in a car or are distracted in a dangerous situation. So stand up, put your feet shoulder widths apart with the toes facing outside, and settle a bit. Sense how your gorgeous feet are touching the ground and carrying your whole body's weight. And use interoception, which is the perception going inward, to sense in your body how your body feels when it is under the onslaught of the external world. Bad news, pinging emails, pinging notifications, social media, a call, someone yelling, someone wanting something from you, and all this stuff getting into your physical space, stuff and people, software and apps and information and news, climate crisis, wars, trade wars, diseases, people dying, people suffering, you being challenged. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to sense in your body. How does it feel to be under this pressure, onslaught, under this tsunami of distractions and demands and expectations? Most people feel some weight on their chest, some cramping tightness in their shoulder girdle. I often have this sense then as like a hole here in my solar plexus, as if you could push with your fists through my body. This is how we subconsciously or consciously are living in the current climate of the design of our societies. To be empowered in the middle of that, to become the eye of the storm, where it's peaceful, calm, where you can focus, where you can make clear decisions. I invite you to use the following simple tool. Just 4 letters. S-T-O-P. Yes, that's right. Stop. As a symbol here, you can order them online. I have one of those beautiful traffic pedals, which pupils, traffic guides use at school to help children cross safely the road. But you don't need that pedal. I just love to have visual prompts when I'm teaching. Stop is one of the most powerful words you, as the queen in your life, can use. And to sense that in your body, please follow along. You don't need that pedal right now. Take a deep breath, say the word out loud, and model the body language I'm using, the gesture I'm using. Stop! And sense in your body, but also in your field, in your space around you, the effect of that word. Stop! I'm a fan of the trilogy of the movie The Matrix. Have you seen part 1 at the very end, where Nemo, the hero, is running through a hallway and his nemesis in gazillion duplications is following and shooting hundreds of bullets towards Nemo. And what does Nemo do? Stop! And all the hundreds of bullets, you can see that they stop in midair. And Nemo takes one and looks at them, and then they all drop to the floor. The movie feels like a sci-fi, plays with mysticism and magic. But what if you had that magic in your everyday life? By simply using the word stop more often. And not only towards other people or distractions, not only with some apps where you can turn off notifications, or in your settings you can turn off the sound of notifications, or you can have an app which prevents you to logging online at certain times of the day. There are all sorts of productivity hacks, apps helping us to be more focused and to block off and stop distractions. But the even deeper meaning of stop is also managing our own inner distractions, self-doubt, negative thoughts, talking yourself out of your own goals. The magic is to say stop in the name of love. The love for yourself, your gorgeous life, and the world. And maybe you download the old Diana Ross song, Singing with the Temptations. Stop in the name of love before you break my heart. Stop in the name of love. Thank you for spending some empowerment time with me.
Hello, I'm so excited that you're here today for Her Empowerment Virtual Summit. Such an honor to be here and share with you. How many of you feel burnout, stressed out? You go home and you're thinking, okay, well, tomorrow I'll get this done. Or, man, I just don't even have the energy to do it. But okay, I'm going to stay up late. I'm going to finish this up. Or I'm going to stay late at the office. I'm going to finish this up. If I get these things done, I'm going to have more time and everything's going to be fine. Before you know it, you burned your candles on both ends and you're burnt out. Let me tell you, I can relate. I used to have all the energy in the world, and it felt like I was able to just expand that energy because I could do so many things within a day and still have energy the next day. But that wasn't the case about 4 years ago. Hi, I'm Erica Elliott. I own Warrior Heart Healing Hearts, and I am the founder of Energetic Elevation. And I want to show you a little bit about what happened for me and one of the tools that I use with people today that helped me regain my ability to get into a good place quicker with my emotions, with elevating those emotions easily, regularly, daily. Energetic elevation helps people to go inward, releasing the triggers, rewiring, and igniting and elevating the emotions. Wouldn't that be nice to do regularly? So I came up with an acronym to help you. When I crashed 4 years ago, I had adrenal fatigue, hyperkalemia. I had migraines so bad that it created a seizure effect and created some brain issues, so that I had a brain injury, and I've had to work my way back up that. But I'm here to tell you, you don't have to live like that. And I hope that you'll take on some of these things and learn about them now before your body crashes, because it's taken me a few years to get my health back. It was a crash like no other, and I didn't know what was going to happen. But let me tell you, learning more about sinking into energy, going inward, healing those kinds of things first, and then elevating those energies was one of the greatest gifts that I could learn. And I want to teach you how to do that with a simple term, a little tool, an acronym called SHIFTS. SHIFTS, shifts. So with shifts, we start out with S. When something happens stressful or you're feeling off in the day, give yourself permission to shake it off. Shake it off, move the body, exercise, get up and dance, movement, shake it off. H is for happy. Happy. Did you know if you just smile for just 30 seconds, even a fake smile, it releases positive chemicals in the brain? Give yourself permission to smile. Here's a cool tool to try. Try smiling in the inside in your heart. See a smile on the inside in your heart. See a smile in your mind. See a smile in the person that you're mad at or that you have conflict, somebody that you're upset with at work. Try it and see what happens. Imagine sinking into the breath, 3 breaths in, hold for 3 breaths, and 4 breaths out. Then thinking to yourself, what do I want different? Imagine bird's eye view, seeing that different, rehearsing that, and then getting excited, like doing a cartwheel at the end. Because when you do stuff like that, it helps to rewire the brain to remember those things. So going into using your imagination. F is for fun. Laugh, even if it is a fake laugh, actually releases positive chemicals so much that it can create healing in the body. So try it. Laugh just for no reason. Or pull up some funny videos and laugh at those. But give yourself the ability to laugh and have fun. T, turn your eyes upward. There's some research that says when we turn our eyes upward, that it shifts and changes perspective. So I always like to say, in turning your eyes upward, also then turn everything over to God or your higher power. Release it to Him. Give yourself permission to write it out on a note, which is even better because you're releasing it another way neurologically when you put it on a note. And then give it to God or your higher power and see what happens. And S. S is bringing in all your senses. Bringing in all your senses using your smell, your taste, your touch, your hearing is a great way to have mindfulness. And I encourage people to do this and practice this every day, because when you practice mindfulness every day, it creates the ability to be more in the here and now easily. When we're not in mindfulness, sometimes it feels like we're detached or disassociated from our body, detached from our emotions. Give yourself permission to look around the room and do the 3, 2, 1. Identify 3 things, call them out. 2, I'm going to listen for 2 things and call those out. 1, I'm going to pick something up. I'm going to describe it, what color it is, how does it feel, getting into my senses. So shifts. Try this helpful acronym, shifts. Shake it off. H is for happy, I is for imagine, F is for fun, T is for turn your eyes upward and turn it over to God, and S is for your senses, shifts. Bringing these small shifts into your life can do a dramatic change. It's great to heal from traumas and tribulations, but it's magical to live elevated. Be blessed and be a blessing. This is Erica Elliott. I've been a counselor for over 30 years, and I love sharing with people and helping them heal, grow, and soar with God as their pilot.
Have you ever woken up feeling exhausted with a packed day ahead and zero motivation? Some people call that waking up on the wrong side of the bed, but I call it waking up in a funk. And I've been there more times than I can count. Today, I'm going to share with you a couple of strategies that I figured out that have helped me pivot out of the funk and get back to feeling empowered. My name is Molly Smith, and I am a health and mindset coach, a wife, mom, and a corporate professional, as well as an author and an international speaker. And like many of you, I have big, hairy, audacious goals, but I've also struggled with limiting beliefs and a scarcity mentality, anxiety, and even depression. And there are days where it feels like getting out of the funk feels impossible. Over the last couple of years, I've identified some practical tools that have helped me reset and move forward, and I'm excited to share them with you today. I call them the Empower framework. It's designed to help you shift your energy and your mindset, even on your toughest days. Let me walk you through it. The first E is for doing an emotions check in. Now, I don't know about you, but growing up, I wasn't taught how to identify and process my emotions. What I can do very well is numb, ignore, and avoid them like gold medal status. But here's the thing, checking in with our emotions isn't about fixing them, it's about honoring where you're at. It's like giving yourself that mental fist pump to say, hey, I see you, and it's okay to feel this way. Your emotions are indicators, not dictators. Checking in with them is a good step to getting back on track. The next part of our Empower framework is meditation. Now, I know you might be thinking, who has time for that? But here's what I've learned. Incorporating meditation is like a secret weapon. It actually makes you more productive. It is the perfect example of slowing down in order to speed up. And who doesn't want to do a little bit of that, right? Meditation is about giving your brain a break. By pausing to connect with your breath, you activate your body's rest and digest responses, which lowers your stress hormones and brings you back into balance. Apps like Calm and Insight Timer offer quick, practical options to do meditations that fit your schedule. Even a 1 minute pause to focus on your breath can shift your mindset and energy. It's simple and powerful and doable, even for the busiest women. The P in the Empower framework is progress towards a goal. When we're in a funk, it's easy to feel overwhelmed when we have a mile-long to-do list. But the key to breaking out of that cycle is simple. Clarify what's most important and identify what your next best step is. Zoom in on that one specific action that you can take right now, because each little win fuels your momentum, making it easier for you to take on the next task. The O is for optimizing your energy. When your energy is in a good place, everything feels more manageable. By taking small intentional steps to fuel your body, it sets the tone for a more productive day. Here's the deal. If you eat like crap, you're gonna feel like crap. Your body is a high performance car and it needs to premium fuel to function at its best, right? So hydrating, eating balanced meals every couple of hours will help keep that energy up through the day. Skipping meals and running on coffee all day is a recipe for brain fog, fatigue, and irritability. Even small tweaks will help you pivot out of the funk and show up as your best self. The W in the Empower framework are wellness practices, and there are a lot of these in this category, but I'm going to focus in on one that is a game changer, and that is changing your state. When you are feeling stuck, one of the most effective ways you can do to shift your things you can do to shift your energy is to physically move and change your environment. Take 5 minutes to get outside, check the mail, walk the dog, water the plants, get up from your desk and go do something else. You've got to break up and interrupt your physical state, giving your mind and body a chance to reset and therefore refocus. The second E in our Empower framework is to engage in gratitude. Gratitude is one of the simplest and most powerful tools for shifting our focus when we're feeling stuck. It isn't just appreciating the things in our life that we are grateful for today. It's also about expressing gratitude for the things you want to call into your life as if they have already happened. So here's the exercise. Write down 3 things, people or events that you are grateful for today in your physical 3D reality. And then write down 3 things that you want to create in your life as if they have already happened. This aligns your thoughts and your emotions with the outcomes that you desire. The last part of our Empower framework is restoring through self-care. Ladies, self-care is not selfish. It is the foundation for recharging your energy. Listen, we can't pour from an empty cup. Self-care activates your body's relaxation responses. It lowers your stress hormones and boosts your mood. Skipping the self-care will lead to burnout. And especially when you prioritize everybody else's needs before your own, you are going to get into burnout. So whether it is a cup of tea, your favorite podcast, stretching, identify what it is that helps you feel refreshed and make it a priority. It doesn't require a lot of hours, but it does require some intention. And listen, it's going to help you refill your cup and prepare to handle whatever comes next in your life. Each of these steps is powerful on its own, but when you can stack a few of them together, you create momentum that will help you pivot out of the funk. And here's the beauty: you don't have to do them all. Just start with one. Ask yourself the question, what is one small thing I can do right now? And then go do it. The Empower framework is designed to meet you where you're at, whether you're having an okay day or a really hard day. One or a few of these practices will help you reset, recharge, and move you forward towards an empowered day. Hey, thank you so much for connecting today. I would love to connect further. Enjoy your summit.
Welcome, ladies. Do you ever feel exhausted from taking care of everything, being the family taxi, working or running your business, and you don't feel like there's any time for you? What I do is help you create pockets of time for you, help you set boundaries so instead of saying yes to everyone else all the time, you're saying yes to you. I'm Linda Wilson, and I'm an expert in emotional support, emotional intelligence, and self-care. And today, I'm going to give you some ways to create pockets of time to refresh and recharge yourself. You see, I've been the caregiver, but I've also been the care receiver. And I've taken what I've learned from being both to help you look after yourself at short blocks of time. Since 2011, I've had 3 open heart surgeries, cared for my husband during his 2 open heart surgeries, spent 5 months in ICU isolation, among other things. When I was in ICU for 5 months, my husband came to see me every day. He'd go to work early in the morning, leave about 2 p.m., come sit with me until after dinner. Then he'd go home, he'd mow the yard, shovel the snow, do whatever needed doing around the house. In that 5 months, he only took 2 days off from visiting me. And I believe the stress he went through that he didn't talk about or share with anyone caused his illness and ultimately his death. And that's one of the reasons why I believe so strongly in helping people care for themselves. Because at some point, your body's going to tell you enough is enough. And then what? So you may be wondering what this has to do with personal growth and mindset. Well, self-care is a mindset, a vital one. It's a mindset that you are worthy of taking care of yourself, that you are allowed to take care of yourself, that you matter. No matter what your job, your role in life, as a woman, you're a caregiver. So when do you take time for yourself? Be honest now, I'm not talking about 4 hours at the spa or a big getaway vacation. What have you done for you today? Well, you're taking time to participate in the summit, watching the videos and getting great information from everyone. Well done. That's a great form of refreshing and renewing. Taking time for yourself to do something you enjoy is a huge, huge win. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle of everyday life. So make sure you take a few moments during your day just for you. Let me give you an example. My mom worked at hospice when we were in school, and she'd be so tired and drained after a long day. So she'd come home from work each night, fill the tub, and she'd say, I don't care if the house is on fire for the next 30 minutes. I'm not here. That was her self-care. It wasn't fancy, wasn't big or expensive. It was quiet, serene, private. It was how she refreshed, recharged, and refocused from work to family. Don't feel like you have 30 minutes? Here's a quick exercise you can do. Grab a seat, put your feet flat on the floor, put your hands palm up in your lap. Close your eyes and take a deep breath through your nose. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Exhale through your mouth. 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2, 3. Again. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2, 3. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2, 3. Now open your eyes. How do you feel? So can you see where you just gave yourself 30 seconds of calm and peace? It is possible. Now, if you're a full-time 24/7 caregiver, even 30 seconds might seem like an impossibility. But here's what I know. If something were to happen to you tomorrow or even this afternoon, they would have to figure something out. It's great to feel vital and important, but don't be irreplaceable. And that's where a lot of caregivers put themselves. No one else can do it like I can. No one else is available. I'm the only one they have. And you know what? That may be true. So for the peace of mind for your family member and for your own peace of mind, create a plan B. Plan B can be very simple. There are groups, agencies, friends, and neighbors who are actually looking to be of help, but they need to know what you need. Ask one of them to come sit with mom, dad, or your loved one while you run to the store, run some errands. Or if that doesn't fit, let them run the errands and you can rest while your person is resting. You can't be the rock 100% of the time. Our human minds and bodies eventually hit a limit. You deserve to take a break now and then. Look at times during your day when your loved one's sleeping, watching TV, or otherwise engaged, even for just a few moments. You can step into the next room or open the door, step outside, keeping them in view, and get a little bit of fresh air. You can go for a short walk with your loved one. Even if they're in a wheelchair, you can take them for a little ride. We would sit with Dad and build castles with building blocks, or sit outside and blow bubbles. What are things you like to do that maybe they can help with? Most importantly, what brings you a few moments of peace and serenity? Here's some tools that I use to help me take care of myself. Reflection. I take time out of the day to meditate, pray, or reflect to help feel more relaxed and centered. Sleep. Lack of sleep creates mental, physical, and emotional distress. No kidding, right? Duh. There are many options to help you get a good night's rest. What healthy options have you tried in the past that worked? Can you put them back into your routine? Now, my mom always had her cup of hot chocolate before going to bed. But there's a variety of herbal teas, essential oils, and other things that can help you. Ask for help. Ask for help with whatever you're feeling overwhelmed with. And I know this is a tough one. Asking for help goes against the grain for most of us. But there are actually people looking for a way to help you. So ask. Allow them the gift of being of service. Medical and dental checkups. This is so important, ladies. Get that mammogram or get that pap. And if you're over 50, get your colonoscopy. Unpleasant? Yeah. But nothing compared to what surgery, chemo, and radiation will be. And don't forget your teeth. See your dentist twice a year for a cleaning exam and x-rays. So let's recap. Remember that you are worthy of self-care. You are allowed to refresh and renew yourself throughout the day. You matter to your family, your caregiving, your friends, and to yourself. Take time for you to meditate, pray, or whatever form of reflection you choose. Do your best to get good sleep. Ask for help. Get your medical and dental checkups. You can't do what you do if you're sick. Treat yourself like you would treat your best friend. Schedule time to step up for you. And along those lines, I have a gift for you. If you would like to receive a message of love, friendship, and motivation each day, text HEART to the posted number on the screen or can scan the QR code and we'll send you a message every day. I know the value of feeling loved and supported. And to get a complimentary breakthrough session, visit my website at lindamariewilson.com and click on the button in the upper right-hand corner to schedule. Well done for taking some time today for you. Remember, you are loved, valued, and appreciated.
Hi, my name is Jessica Ann Renfeld. I'm an international best-selling author, a speaker, and a mindset coach. And today I'm going to speak on the topic of radical resilience, unlocking gratitude and joy to thrive in daily life. Now, what if I told you resilience isn't about being tough at all, and it's actually about something else entirely? You know, when I was younger, I thought about resilience, and it was like someone who was impenetrable or really had a hard exterior and let nothing bother them. If they got knocked down, they came up punching. But as what I've found over the last decade or so is that resilience is not a shield, but a soft strength. And when I work with my coaching clients, I always make sure we create a really good foundation of gratitude and joy. And I'll talk a little bit more about these, but what we find is that as we raise our vibration with gratitude, we uncover joy. And when we uncover joy, think of all the things that make you excited about life. Like joy for me is hiking, being in the forest, being with my friends, being with my family, being with the person that I love, and doing things that create adventure and curiosity in my life. Like joy is so much for me. I know that if I keep my joy cup filled, that I have the opportunity to have unlimited resilience as long as I continue to practice the gratitude and joy. And so resilience isn't about perfection right? But it's about small intentional practices and choosing to do those on a daily basis. So here's a quote that I created. Gratitude raises your vibration by shifting your focus to life's blessings, igniting joy in the smallest moments. This joy becomes the foundation for resilience, empowering you to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. So everybody talks about a gratitude practice and gratitude journals. And I admit I started and stopped gratitude journals over the years several times. But when I had some life-changing news, I knew that I needed to listen to the experts, right? There must be some sort of science behind a gratitude journal. So that's what I did. I adopted a gratitude practice. And this is what I did. I would go and I find a place where I was not going to be interrupted. No TV, phone aside, no outside distraction from kids or hubbies. And then I would work to identify 3 things to be grateful for that day. Now, these things can be insignificant, believe it or not, because just insignificant things, and I don't know what you would consider insignificant. Maybe it's just that, I don't know, you didn't trip going down the stairs or something today. Who knows what it is for you? But those can actually create a snowball effect. And when you have that snowball effect, that gratitude energy grows and that vibration increases. And what happens is we end up seeing things that have always been around us, but maybe we were blind to them, that we're actually grateful for, that we feel a lot of gratitude for. So next, I want you to either write these down or speak them out loud. And this is going to help you feel the emotion in the things you've identified. So for me, I love coffee. And as soon as I smell it, I feel the emotion of gratitude just rush over me. I think about, the taste on my tongue, the warmth in my belly, the clarity of mind that it's going to bring, and the energy that it's going to bring me to get through my morning. And then once you've really felt these things that you're grateful for, I want you to start doing this on a daily basis. Whether you have a morning ritual that you do and you want to adopt it into that, or before your head hits the pillow at night, I don't care how you do it. Figure out how to do it in a way that you'll continue to do it because it brings great value to your life. And really pay attention to how it changes your view of the world. So now I want to talk a little bit about how this simple shift of gratitude practice changed my life. In 2016, I was actually diagnosed with a terminal illness called cardiac AL amyloidosis. It's a blood illness, and it's treated with bone marrow transplant and chemotherapy, which I did both. I did a bone marrow transplant and 10 months of chemotherapy. From the beginning, I knew deep down in my soul that I needed to have a positive mindset in order to fight this. So I adopted that gratitude practice right out of the gate, and I started looking for things to be grateful for. Was it a nurse who was extra kind that day, offered snacks and juice while I got my chemo, or who was just reassuring that, the nausea would go away about day 5 post-chemotherapy delivery. Maybe it was the rides that I got to the oncology clinic, or maybe it was just a simple smile from a stranger. It didn't matter. I was embracing gratitude fully, and I am telling you that the practice of gratitude created an outcome that is truly a miracle. I'm a miracle that I'm alive today. Well, this disease actually ruined my heart, and I ended up having a stroke. And then I was on the heart transplant list in early 2020. I was on the transplant list for 18 months. 15 of that was outpatient. The last 3 of that was in the ICU. Same thing. I continued my gratitude practice. I did what I could, controlled what I could to stay healthy in my mind and in my body. Even though my heart wasn't working, I was eating healthy. I surrounded myself with joyful things that I knew created resilience in my life. And as long as those were there, even though I was there during COVID and I couldn't see my kids, I created this environment that I experienced joy in. I got to know my providers and I was grateful for everything that they were doing for me. It was just an incredible experience. So, a couple takeaways. I want you to start by writing down 3 things you're grateful for tonight and tomorrow or tomorrow morning. You choose. And then I want you to download my free giveaway, 10 Ways to Uncover Unlimited Resilience. I'd love to stay connected. If anything resonated today and you think that maybe you'd like to work with me as a one-on-one coach to help create an abundant, joyful life, I would love to hear from you. I'm super active on my Instagram account at @jrenfelt. And I really appreciate your time today. And remember, uncovering gratitude and creating joy gives you the opportunity for unlimited resilience.
Hello, my name is Michelle Gunn, and I am a self-actualization and mindset coach. I truly found myself and my value as an adult when I took the Clifton Strengths Assessment. It was truly a confirmation of who I am and what I have to offer and what my true value is so that I can embrace it and aim it to help other people. Now, growing up, I had almost no self-esteem. I was always told what was wrong with me, what I needed to correct, even if I was doing extremely well, always what I can do better. And I think that society is still pretty much that way, and a lot of people are that way. They're usually on, 2 tangents. Either you can do anything you want if you put your mind to it, or, hey, you've hit the minimum, great job, to what's wrong with you? You did that wrong. You did this wrong. Why can't you be better? There's not really a happy medium, but most importantly, there is not the embracing of who we are truly created to be. And that's really my mission in life, to help people do that. When I was a teenager, right now, I have a broken tooth. I have to get fixed. And I am self-conscious of it, but I know that my value is not based on what my teeth look like. My teeth were horrible from a young child till after I got my braces off at age 16. No, let me take that back. I got my braces on at age 16. I learned not to smile, to hide my teeth, and I was very unhappy. I felt unloved. But there came a point as a teenager, I knew something had to change, and the change needed to start within me. I didn't know it at the time, but what I started doing is standing in front of the mirror every morning and doing self-affirmations. I thought about what was good and right about myself. And then I told myself out loud so that I could hear it and feel it in my heart. And that's what a lot of people need to do today. So one of the tips I offer you today is self-affirmations. Write down 3 things that are good about you, your talents. And don't make it be about other people. Don't make it be about what you can do for other people. What is something that's an innate quality? For me, one of those things is my strong belief system. That's one. I'm a good listener, and that is something I can do for someone else, but it also helps me gather information and really see what's going on so that I can offer solutions or help find solutions. Another thing with me is that I'm completely reliable. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Those are 3 things. Now, I don't remember what I came up with when I was a teenager. It was probably more like I told myself I was pretty, told myself I was kind, and I don't know, I'm guessing, but I know as a teenager, looks has a lot to do with it, and I didn't really feel pretty, so I'm pretty sure that was one of them. But doing that at least twice a day, in the morning and in the evening, and it has to be verbal,
Write them on a sticky note, stick them where you can see it, write it on your bathroom mirror. Start your day with positivity. The second thing I want to give you is to always look for the gift and opportunity in every situation. No matter what happens, there's a gift or an opportunity there, and you need to embrace it. The third thing I want to give you today is remember to always provide value. Give for the sake of giving. I recommend a book called The Go-Giver, and it talks about being a go-giver and a grateful receiver. But a lot of things I see in the world today say, give because you get this, give because you get that. Don't do that. Give for the joy of giving. Make sure you're providing value, and the value that only you can provide. I want to sum this all up with a call to action that you are created as an individual. You have individual gifts and talents that no one else has. And the world needs the you that you were created to be. So embrace it. And if you need help discovering who you really are, please reach out to me. You can find me on my website, michellegunn.com. That's Michelle with one L, Gunn with two N's, michellegunn.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find my business at Cultivate and Thrive on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and I have a YouTube channel. I also write an article for Pathos.com called Graceful Awakening, and I especially want to invite you to join me in discovering your word of the year. If you haven't done that for this year, for 2025, you can always go back and do that, and it's not too late. Just reach out. You can always send me an email, also cultivateandthrive@gmail.com. Remember, be the you that God created you to be, because the world needs that you. You are wonderful.
Have you ever found yourself saying yes when every cell of your body screamed no? As entrepreneurs, we are told to always be on, to hustle and grind, and to always be available. But what if the way to true success is a completely different one? Hello, and welcome to my talk, The Art of Saying No, Boundaries for a Thriving Business and Life. I'm Nadja Hagen, and I'm a self-love coach for high-achieving women recovering from people-pleasing. I teach my clients to set healthy boundaries and prioritize themselves so they can intentionally create their life aligned with their values while building mutual and connected relationships. And all this without the need to pretend to be someone they are not. Today, I want to teach you a very simple 3-step method to set healthy boundaries. I call it the ABD Boundary Blueprint. So, should we dive into it? Okay, here comes the first step. A stands for assess. For this one, I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pen, seriously, and draw a line in the middle of the paper. And on the left-hand side, you write down every relationship you have and every commitment you have that is giving you a strong emotional reaction. And write down the commitments and relationships for your business and your private life. And on the right-hand side, I want you to assess each of them. So if the emotional reaction is a positive one, meaning this thing is giving you energy, filling up your cup, making you happy, then give it a plus or 2+. If it drains you, if it's costing you energy, if it's making you procrastinate, give it a minus or 2. This is not to eliminate everything. This is just to have a true and honest look and assessment of your energetical ecosystem. So let's move to the second step. B stands for, you probably can guess it, right? Yeah, absolutely. B stands for boundaries. You go back to your column on the left-hand side and you identify the 3 to 5 points that are giving you the most negative reaction. And for these, you're defining your boundaries. They can look like, I will not take any client calls after 6 p.m. Or I will dedicate the first 2 hours in the morning to work on my most important project. Or it can be, I will decline opportunities that do not align with my long-term vision. It can also be, I will fire this one client who's asking me to do more and more and more and is never satisfied, and at the same time is asking me to pay less and less and less, and just makes me want to give up my business completely. So that makes us ready for the third step. That's the D, and that's the step where most people fail. D stands for declare and defend. Declare means that you express your boundary in a clear and kind way. So I have an example for you, an example that you can actually use in a lot of occasions to say no without ruffling any feathers. You can say something like, thank you so much for thinking of me. I would love to, but I already have another commitment. That's easy, isn't it? Right? There are not a lot of things that I can guarantee in this life, but one thing I can guarantee from my own experience and working with hundreds of clients is that setting boundaries is a practice. It might feel super uncomfortable at first, but feeling uncomfortable doesn't make it wrong, right? And the more you practice setting boundaries, the easier it becomes until one day it's second nature. Seriously, it works, promised. So, just because it feels uncomfortable doesn't mean your boundary is wrong. But people, and for this one, it doesn't matter if you've set a boundary with other people or a boundary with yourself. If you have been the one who always said yes in the past, people expect you to say yes again. And you probably subconsciously expect yourself to say yes too. So if it's a boundary that you have set with yourself, like maybe, I won't scroll 30 minutes a day through Instagram. So expect pushback. That's absolutely normal. And when you are prepared to handle the pushback, it's so much easier. And that doesn't mean the other person is wrong or you don't have self-discipline. This is just the way our brain is designed. So we try to test. That's normal. So defend your boundaries here. And you need to know that by setting boundaries and clearly and kindly communicating, you are not only protecting your resources, your time, your energy, but you are also a role model for other people. And that's an awesome thing to be. So that was the ABD boundary blueprint. I hope that it helps you to assess your situation and set healthy boundaries so that your business and your life can thrive. Because one super, super important thing is that you need to know that your business and your life can only grow and extend to the capacity that you can hold energetically and emotionally. So it is super important that you free yourself from all these things that are draining you, either draining your energy or draining your time or draining you financially or just plain draining your mood. Because all these things matter. You matter, and you have all the right to set your boundaries and have your standards. I don't want to leave you hanging. I want to travel this route with you together. And for that, I have prepared a free checklist for you. It's my 8 steps to healthy boundaries checklist. And 8 steps sounds a lot, but actually it's super easy. I will guide you through the whole boundary setting process so that you know exactly when to set a boundary, how to communicate it clearly and kindly, and how to make sure it's being respected, all while feeling good throughout the whole boundary setting process. You can grab your version under natyahagen.com/boundaries-checklist. Thank you so much for listening to my talk, and happy boundary setting.
Hello, my name is Christy Sarah. I am a feminine empowerment coach focused on helping women navigate transformation, either something they've chosen for themselves or something they're starting to embark on or something that's kind of just happened to them and they're in the process of finding their way. I have been a fan and a follower of She Rises for years now, and this is my first opportunity to jump in and really participate, and I could not be more excited to be here. I love everything about She Rises, the mission, the way that they position things, the way that they support women, and I'm stoked to be here. A little bit about me. I have been working and worked in corporate world for 20 plus years, working in the financial technology industry. I have had the opportunity to work with a number of amazing companies and really create products out there in the world that truly help people. I am passionate about taking things apart and putting them together in ways that are new and different and that can create change. And I think that's a lot of the strength and the power that I bring into my coaching, is that I can see through challenges and really help women navigate things that look messy from a different perspective, but ultimately lead to a lot of opportunity, empowerment, and joy. Speaking of joy, pleasure, joy, bliss. If you follow me on Instagram or if you've seen any of the work that I do, those are huge themes for me. About 10 years ago, I was married and in a very different life position than I am now. I had achieved a ton in my life. I had a great career, amazing children, and they are powerhouses in of their own, 3 girls, and a relationship with a partner that didn't light me up. We had stopped doing the things that we needed to do to take care of each other, long before. And my journey was messy, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I would not ask for anything different at this point in my life, but there were opportunities to kind of have navigated them differently. And at that stage of my life, I wish I'd had someone that I could reach out that would hold me in that space and say, yeah, I've been there, and it's yucky, and it's tough, and here's a way to work through it, to navigate it, to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and know that you'll get there at the end. So that's really, and I did a lot of self-healing through this journey. And big tenet of my coaching is, like, I've been there. I didn't do it the best, but I learned a ton, and I'm here to support and help women do it a little more gracefully, a little less painfully, and keep true to that vision of what they want their lives to be on the other side of it. So that's a little bit about me and a little bit about my story. I remember in one of my darkest moments, a friend asking me what my dreams were for my future, for my life. And at that point in my life, I had no idea. I had no dreams. I just wanted to be done with the day as quickly as I could and get to bed and sleep, honestly, pretty much every day. I love my kids, and I still do, and I enjoyed time with them. But every other piece of my life was just dark and heavy and non-supportive. I'd lost my connection to my bliss, into my joy, into the things that truly light me up and my passion in the world. And it was a tough moment for me to realize that the high school version of me, this like starry-eyed, the world is my oyster, I'm going to take it on, I'm going to save the world mentality of who I was so different than my like early 30s version of me. And, it is what it is. But it was a bit of an awakening for me of like, oh, okay, I can do this better. And the journey back is a lot of the tools that I use myself, and a lot of the things I discovered about myself are fully interwoven into my coaching. And a huge piece of that is mindset. And this idea of beliefs that we hold, and beliefs are not necessarily based in reality. They are things that we believe to be true that may or may not be true. And once you start to understand what you believe and what that does in your life, you can literally transform your life. You can rewrite your beliefs. If they're limiting, you can write them to something that's empowering. You can start to notice where they show up. I was working with a client the other day, and she was in awe of this process. We spent 2 months together, 4 sessions, and in the 3rd session, she came in with a powerful limiting belief that she was ready to let go of, and she rewrote it, she transformed it, and the impact from that moment, she's still feeling in her life. And it was really this belief around value and knowing that she's valuable, just who she is, not letting society tell her what she should be or she ought to be or how she should interact with the world, like her finding her own purpose and her own value and rewriting her beliefs. And it's something that she's still every day has to remind herself, but she knows how to do it. She's got the tools, and she has really seen a powerful shift in the first month and a half of being in this coaching program that I was offering. And so that's really what I'm here for. That's what gets me excited. I am giving away a free coaching package as part of this, and would love to connect with anyone who has questions and wants to learn more. Thank you.
Hey, Happy New Year. Congratulations on making the first best decision of 2025. Seriously, give yourself some love because this is going to be the year that changes your life. Thank you to She Rises Studios for putting together this incredible summit for us women. So much gratitude to you. My name is Megan Waite. I'm founder of Megan Waite Coaching. People call me Coach Meg. I am professionally trained in goal setting and, more importantly, goal achievement. I have been helping women just like you achieve their personal and professional goals over the last 30 years. I also run my own company, and I've grossed over 7 figures in sales in 2024 alone. I practice what I preach in order to be successful. So, whether you're thinking about starting a business, you're currently a founder of your own business, maybe you are, the studier of life. If you have a brand new startup or have a flourishing company like myself, it doesn't matter. Grab your notebook because I'm going to teach you the top 5 habits that you want to hone to maximize your profits this year. What? Am I right? Come on. We all got into business for a reason, and more than likely, it's for one of these top 3. To have control of your schedule, right? Your calendar, your time. You want your time back. You don't want a cap on the amount of money you can make. Maybe you started the business to pay some extra bills, but ultimately, it was for the cash flow. Third, you may have started your business or want to start a business to design your life the way you always dreamed you could live it. So, let's get you there. Okay, again, I'm going to teach you the top 5 habits you want to master to maximize your profits this year. First habit is harnessing your power through personal self-care. I call it creating a personal self-care movement. Would you agree? If you don't feel great, if you have a low energy, it really leads to low confidence, low action taking, and you don't meet your goals. Am I right? So, this is going to be incredibly important to the success of your business. Did I mention I'm also a national board certified health and wellness coach of over 10 years? I am. I'm more than happy to help you create a personal self-care movement in your own life and show you how it will help to maximize your profits this year. Okay, so you want to develop self-care habits on a daily, weekly, monthly, and a quarterly basis. This is so important. These self-care habits will match the expansion in your business. Okay? This second habit that you're going to want to harness is a clear decision-making process. The blessing and the curse of being a woman. It's that we include emotions, or we tend to include emotions in a lot of our decisions. And oftentimes, when making smart decisions, we need to remove the emotion. Okay, so if you don't have a clear decision-making process, I do have one that has worked for me, and I'm more than happy to teach it to you and share it with you. This is something you're going to want to harness this year.
The third habit you want to harness is accessing what I call your go power. Your go power is made up of 7 steps to bring you from where you are to where you want to be. It's recognizing your own genius and your skill sets. It's understanding that there is an order of operation for your actions. It's using the power presence as you take action. It's knowing your outcome that you're pointed towards, not away from. It's getting clear on why achieving that outcome is important to you, and it's executing your plan and always making sure to review, revise, rinse, and repeat that Go Power method for the best goal achievement. The fourth habit that you're going to want to harness is rising up when things are falling apart, and they will. Sometime in 2025, something will unravel and you'll want to know how to get back up. And no matter how messy it is, rise back up because you, my friend, are resilient. You're incredibly resourceful. And yes, you do have the resources to get this done. And I'll show you how. We are building a community together to support you. The fifth and last habit that you're going to want to really harness to be successful in 2025 is your personal rising story in your business. How do you go from where you are to bringing in maybe 5 figures, 6 figures through your business? And if you're already at 6 figures, how to take it to that 7 figures this year? We call this the rise of the entrepreneur. You rise at your own pace, right? So it's perfectly perfect wherever you're starting from. I meet you where you are at. Ladies, you got this. I know. That was a ton of information. And of course, I'm not going to leave you high and dry. Come see me over at meganwaitecoaching.com, where we can review these 5 habits you want to harness to be most profitable in 2025. All right, head over to meganwaitecoaching.com, send me a message. You can grab my free ebook. And for participants of the summit only, I'm going to be gifting you the opportunity to get started with me today for $1. To make 2025 the year that you look back as you're entering 2026 and you're cleaning those glasses with a tear streaming down your face. And your heart is just swelling with such pride because you did it. You made those huge strides in 2025. You just changed that trajectory of your life, not just your business, but your life. Not just for yourself, but also for those around you. This is your year. All right, go ahead. Head over to meganwaitecoaching.com. I'll explain it all. Use code 2025. 2025 is your year to change your life again. meganwaitecoaching.com. Entering code 2025 to redeem the $1 discount for my folks from the summit only. Get started with me for that $1. Can't wait to meet you ladies over there. Blessings to you in your 2025.
Hello, my name is Sonia McDonald. I'm a board-certified transformational life coach. I'm a registered nurse with over 30 years of experience. I'm a speaker and a best-selling author in the international anthology, My Unforgettable Personal Stories That Will Inspire You. I'm also writing in my first solo book, Unshakable, Unlocking Your Blueprint to Living Well Despite Limitations. That will be out and released this summer. But today, I'm here to share how you can learn to live well despite limitations. Whether it's a chronic illness, if it's fear, self-doubt holding you back, I'm going to take you on a journey of transformation. I'm going to show you how to awaken your story, to take courageous action and align with your purpose. Steps that help me reclaim my light and can help you do the same. It was March in 2020. The world around me was a blur as the pain in my chest tightened its grip. Each breath was a desperate struggle, paired with a fever so high I could feel my body burning from the inside out. I was gasping for air that was out of reach as I stumbled into the hospital. The nurses were rushing to my side, and the machines began their frantic beeping, echoing the chaos in my mind. Every sound, every light was magnified as if my body and my mind were spiraling out of control. And then the realization hit me. I might not make it out of here alive. Have you ever felt so scared and so overwhelmed that you questioned whether you could survive? Have you faced a moment so profound that you knew something had to change? That was my defining moment. I prayed harder than I ever had before. asking God for strength and for clarity and for a way forward. And in the stillness of that moment, something shifted. A thought rose in my mind. If I make it out of this hospital, I want to live differently. I want to reclaim my light. I want to rewrite my story. So when I left that hospital, I was physically fragile, emotionally drained, and unsure of what the future held. But I made a choice. I could stay stuck in fear, or I could take small, courageous steps to start living well despite my limitations. The journey was not easy, but it taught me 3 powerful lessons that transformed my life. And today, I want to share those with you. The first step is awakening to your story. For years, I told myself a story that wasn't serving me. You're too sick. You're too weak. This is all you're ever going to be. And the story kept me trapped in fear and self-doubt, and it replayed over and over like a broken record every day. So what story are you telling yourself? Is it a story that lifts you up or one that holds you down? Maybe it sounds like, I'll never be good enough, or I'm never going to succeed, or is this just how life is for me? We all carry these stories, but here's the truth. The story you tell yourself is not permanent. You have the power to change it. The women I coach often come to me with stories that keep them stuck. But when they awaken to the truth that they are the authors of their lives, they begin to see their light again. Awakening isn't about ignoring your challenges. It's about reclaiming the pen and deciding what comes next. What belief or story are you holding on to? Does it serve you, or is it holding you back? If it's not serving you, it's time to rewrite it. Rewriting your story is powerful, but it's not enough. The second step is taking courageous action. After leaving the hospital, my first action was small. I just walked outside and let the sun hit my face. My chest was still heavy, my legs were shaking, but that one step reminded me, I'm still here and I can still fight. From there, I built small habits that helped me regain my strength. I journaled 3 things I was grateful for every day. I changed how I nourished my body. I walked in nature, even if it was just for a few minutes. These small actions were not dramatic, but they created momentum, and that momentum changed everything. What's one small step you can take today? Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's reaching out for help, or simply pausing to breathe. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to take the next step. The women I coach often start with one simple action, like one small goal, like drinking more water or just taking a small walk. But the small steps build confidence and they lead to lasting transformation. Courage is not about being fearless. It's about acting even when fear is screaming in your ear. The third step is alignment. And as I began taking action, I realized it wasn't just about doing more. It was about aligning my actions with what truly mattered. For me, that meant reconnecting with my faith, my family, and my purpose as a coach. It meant building habits that reflected the woman I wanted to become, not the one fear told me I was. Are your actions aligned with your values, or are you stuck in routines that no longer serve you? Alignment isn't about perfection. It's about making choices that reflect the life that you want to create. When your actions reflect your values, life stops feeling like a fight. It just starts to flow. I've seen women align their lives with their light and go from surviving to thriving. That's the power of alignment. It clears the path for your light to shine bright. You are not defined by your limitations, your fears, your pain. You are defined by your light, by your courage to rise, to act, and to align your life with your purpose. What story will you rewrite, and what step will you take? What truth will you align with today? If my story resonates with you, I would be so honored to support you on your journey. Please visit me at www.soniamcdonald.com to connect with me, learn more about my coaching, and take the next step toward igniting your light. Your light is waiting for you. It's time to step into it, ignite your light, and transform your life. I hope all of you have a beautiful rest of the day and Here's to 2025 being amazing. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Corinne Brown, leadership coach and advocate for resilience and self-worth. Today I want to talk about something that has the ability to transform your life, personal growth and mindset. I want to start by asking you a question. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt that you're in a cycle of self-doubt and limiting beliefs? Well, I know I have. I survived a toxic marriage marred by financial and emotional abuse and sexual harassment in the workplace. What I learned from that was that there was something very powerful in what I could do to overcome that. And it was about my mindset. My mindset reshaped my reality. Once I realized that I was not to blame for what happened to me, I started to realize that I had to work through this. There was no way of getting around it, over it, under it. I had to go straight through the middle of it. I had to face it head on, and I had to acknowledge that it devastated my life, that it changed everything about what I valued in myself and what I believed about myself. I actually bought into the narrative, and that was really dangerous. It was dangerous because it robbed me of my self-worth. And it made me feel that I was not worthy of anything. I realised then that the only way for me to work through the middle of this was to change my perspective. It was to have a look from the outside. It was to acknowledge that this had happened to me and it wasn't my fault. And it's really interesting because I think when these types of things happen to us, we doubt ourselves, we blame ourselves, we can't see our way clear of it. But with a shift in perspective and reframing what we think and believe about those situations changes it for the better. And I'll give you an example. For instance, I was called a lot of names in my workplace when I called out sexual harassment. It was devastating. I was called a troublemaker. I was called precious, too sensitive, difficult. I was called argumentative. And they all hurt because I felt I was being assertive, speaking up, saying what was happening, and trying to protect myself and other people. So when this was said to me over and over, I started believing it. And I thought, that isn't who I am. That is not what I stand for. And when I realised that that was their narrative, it was not my narrative, I started to realise that the only way I was going to come to terms with this and understand it for what it was to change the way I viewed it, to change the way my mind thought about it. And I told myself, that is not who you are. You're a great person. You are an advocate for other people and yourself. And you stand up for what's right. I'm a very assertive, proactive person. And when I realised and acknowledged that that was what was happening to me, I was able to move through that and past it and see it for what it was. And it really gave me this ability to voice my opinion when I needed to and empower others to do that, because I think this is a very, very important, crucial point, especially for women, is finding your voice and using it for the greater good. You know, when I think about resilience, what that means to me is being able to bounce back when you've been knocked down. And that might happen many, many times in your lifetime. But women have this great ability to do that. We are strong and powerful and empowering, and we get through things. It doesn't matter what's thrown at us. We get through them because we have a great mindset. That mindset tells us to get back up, keep going, because things will get better. And when I see women getting through and working through adversity, going through traumas, going through lifestyle changes, they are just empowering for me. I just feel thrilled and honoured to know women like that. I'm one of those women. I've worked through many, many stressful, devastating challenging circumstances, and I've come through the end of it. And that's why I'm here today, to help anybody else who wants to work with me and find that inner strength as well. And I now want to set you a challenge before I finish up. So today I want you to take a step toward reframing your mindset. I want you to concentrate on one limiting belief that you have, and I want you to ask yourself, how can I view this differently? I want you to write it down, reflect on it, and commit to taking action. If you're ready and to start a deeper journey towards resilience and growth, I invite you to explore my Mindset Reset coaching program, where we can break through limiting beliefs and create a life that aligns to your values and goals. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, growth begins the moment you decide to change. Let's take the first step today. Stay resilient and lead with purpose. I'm Corinne Brown, and I can't wait to connect with you soon.